Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga is to announce the national Matric pass rate for the class of 2016 this evening. That announcement will be made in Midrand, north of Johannesburg at 6 p.m. For more on that, we cross live now to our reporter Aldrin Sampier, who's in Midrand. Now, he's been on the floor all afternoon, garnering comment from education officials and teacher unions ahead of this announcement. Over to you, Aldrin. A technical briefing expected to get the ball rolling this evening.
Well, Kirshni, yes, that technical briefing is still underway with regards to the results that the country has experienced over the past few years. And one of those emphases is, of course, looking at the policies that government have introduced. And the emphasis from the director who was looking through the results that we received over the past few years is that when you look at what has happened since 2012, for instance, up until 2013, that was the highest peak. We stood at about 7.8% of the results that were achieved. And all of a sudden, when we introduced the new curriculum, CAPS, the numbers then declined to 75.8% and then further declined to about 70%. And now we wait for Minister Angie Motshekga to make the big announcement with regards to the results of 2016. The director, the program director who's currently giving the technical briefing, also indicated that his expectation is that the results will increase. Right now I'm joined by one of our researchers here at the SABC, Thandeka. Thandeka, just quickly, earlier on we were speaking about looking back at when you were looking for your results, anticipating your results. I was speaking to my sister. She was saying she's a bit fearful, and I thought of when I was looking for my results or waiting for my results, I couldn't sleep because of the excitement. What is your experience like?
You are so much better because you couldn't sleep because of the excitement. I couldn't sleep because I was so nervous, Aldrin. Remember, I come from a Quintile 2 school. We didn't have a maths teacher. We didn't have a physical science teacher. So I was nervous in terms of what are they going to say when they come those results in the morning. So I couldn't sleep myself.
But you passed.
I passed.
Yeah. Okay, now let's get into some of the technical stuff, some of the research that you have done on the Matric results. And let's first start on the preview that I gave earlier on. You had OBE, and then for 3 years the results increased all the way up to 7.8%. The introduction of CAPS saw that the numbers declined. And the director was saying earlier on that the reason for that is because once you introduce a new policy, the numbers will change, and you have a theory around it.
Yes, Aldrin, remember that when you introduce something new, it's a human nature to actually not adapt very quickly. So the teachers were actually adamant about the new curriculum, which is Curriculum Assessment Policy Statement. But then 2016 is actually saying the teachers are more comfortable now because it has been running for 3 years. The teachers are more comfortable with the curriculum, and the learners actually have been in the very same curriculum for 3 years. So we are expecting a slight increase because of that. The system is actually stable now.
And when we speak about teachers, of course, it's quite important to speak about teacher intervention as well, because once you introduce this new system, obviously you need to make sure that the teachers go through the training as well.
Exactly. Aldrin, the challenges that were there actually in schools was that when are we actually taking the teachers to training? If you are going to request them to use their own holidays, how are you going to compensate that? They have to teach in the class, but they have to be confident enough to have trained enough to go to the class and teach. Yeah.
Earlier on you were speaking that you're from a Quintile 2 school, and just for the benefit of our viewers at home, so there's a different dimensions. You have 5 different dimensions. You have a Quintile 1 school, which is the poorest of the poor, and then you have the Quintile 5 school, which is a former Model C school, as we describe it.
Yes.
And what you see in that, and earlier on I was speaking to Mukwena Maluleka from SATU as well, is that what you see in that is that these schools that are from rich areas, so which are referred to as former Model C schools, that the results are much better there.
Yes, this is because the infrastructure is actually directed to those schools. Remember that these schools are fee-paying schools, and they are actually paying such high fees. So the equipments are there, the books are there. Remember that in Limpopo there was this fight about textbooks. You can't find that in Quintile 5 and 4 schools because they are well off. the exposure as well. You know, they take them to VITS, for an example. This is a grade 10 learner who is only doing grade 10, but they are exposed to universities. They are exposed to career options at that early age. Actually, when I was going through the list of the top learners in the country, we were hosting them at the SABC yesterday. Most of them are from the Maths Olympiad, the Science Olympiad, but those are quintile 5 and 4 schools.
Yeah.
Our quintile 1, 2, 3 schools are still struggling, and that is where the focus is.
But right now we're showing visuals of those top performing students and or pupils rather. And what you find though is that amongst those top performing pupils, you also get the ones who are coming from quintile 1 and quintile 2 schools. Definitely,
but remember the people from a school in Limpopo for the blind, they actually had to strike for the department to deliver the mobile classes. That is not fair. You're taking away, for example, you're taking away their valuable time for learning, for them to strike, to get the resources. That's not fine. Yes, they are there simply because they won against the odds. They were studying hard, they pushed themselves, but remember that it's not everyone who is as disciplined as that.
Well, definitely. And that speaks to this issue that Section 27 has been fighting for. That is or equal education as well. That is the norms and standards that they want to be implemented at all schools to make sure that the infrastructure is there. And as we've just heard from Mutandega, that that infrastructure definitely plays a pivotal role around how pupils will perform at the end of the year. But of course, some interventions that have happened across a student's school career is also quite important. And later on, when I speak to the Minister of Basic Education, Angie Motshekga, about those issues, we will be delving into them and having a debate on where it's working and where it's not working. It's back to you in studio.
That was our reporter Aldrin Sampier coming to us live from Vaudeville in Midrand, where Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga will be releasing those national matric pass rates for the class of 2016 at 6 p.m. tonight. Well, matrics can indeed send their ID and student numbers to 35658 to access those results. Both numbers must have 13 digits in order to be accepted. SMSs do cost R1 each. Free SMSs do not apply, however. Now, pupils can also dial *120 *356583 hash. Type in your ID number and exam number to register. Once the results are available, you will then get those results per subject. Well, several